So what are people playing in Path of Exile at the beginning of 2024? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Gyro, and this is our Build Watch edition of the show, where we look at the actual data on websites such as PoE.Ninja. We actually look at the information that is pulled from the game, at least based on 100,000 characters almost that are created in the Affliction League to this point in time, and take a look at what are people really playing, because ultimately at the end of the day this is the only information that matters. I am not trying to allege that these are all viable builds, or that they are all equally as good, or that they are the top builds. These are just the most popular ones, and it usually counts for a lot, doesn't it? So first of all, it's the Affliction League, as you can see. It's PoE.Ninja as the resource is concerned, and we are looking at the top 5 Ascendancies that people are playing. Of course, there are close seconds and thirds and fourths and stuff, but that would make the show too long, so we're going to focus on Deadeye, on Pathfinder, on Inquisitor, Chieftain, and Occultist, believe it or not. So if we take a look at just an overview of the abilities, key dominating abilities, without selecting any of the Ascendancies, you can see that Tornado Shot is just undying as a rather leading kind of skill, 14%, with the next close up being half less popular, 7% only. And this is a newcomer to the list, and it's a Penance Brand of Dissipation, one of those newly augmented transfigured gems that are coming from the Divine Font in the Labyrinth. It's the new way for the Divine Font to operate in the Affliction League 3.23, if I'm not terribly mistaken. Detonate Dead is totally expected to be dominating as well the charts, and it's number 3 over here. Summon Raging Spirit I expected to be higher, but it is over here. And haha and lol to everyone who was suspecting that I will be off, but Cyclone is making a resurgence. Of course, not as a primary damage dealer, but as a solid trigger that people still love and use very much so. And these are our main skills that are being used. Now let's take a look at exactly how these skills are being used and in which builds as we go into individual ascendancies. So let's take a look at our Deadeye. Well, Deadeye, again unsurprising, we just looked at Tornado Shot. Of course, that's a Deadeye's weapon of choice. 74% massive domination of Tornado Shot, followed by Lightning Arrow, but this is a massive drop from Tornado Shot. Tornado Shot obviously not even somehow transfigured augmented gem, but the stock standard Tornado Shot in its core functionality is still being used by so many builds, and I will give you some builds in the description of this video just for your reference point, but I'm sure by now you would have your own favorites or your own kind of links from my previous videos that I spoke to you about, where I talked to Max Roll GG builds and other builds that are popular. But Tornado Shot is just refusing to die, and it still is dominating the charts, at least on PoE.Ninja and among those 100,000 characters that are created by people who are uploading their characters to PoE.Ninja. So please talk to me in the comments down below always, but please don't think that I don't understand that not literally every player is uploading their characters to PoE.Ninja, so this data is somewhat skewed towards those who do. I get that part, but it still is worth something. I hope you agree with me. Now let's take a look at what Pathfinders are doing. Pathfinders are relying on the new build. I would say it's a new build, it's a resurging build in Affliction League that is again based on transfigured gem, which in this particular case is the Caustic Arrow of Poison. So Caustic Arrow is an amazing skill in itself, yes, and this is not a basic kind of like 101 for beginners, I suppose. That's why I'm not going to stop here and discuss the particular functionality of a gem. But the Caustic Arrow of Poison has a built-in 40%, if I'm not mistaken, chance to poison the targets that it hits. So that's why I suspect Zizaron's build and some other builds that are promoting Caustic Arrow of Poison have become so popular this particular league, at least so far, at least up to these 100,000 created characters. That's cool, that's cool. So that is good to see. Now let's take a look at what is dominating in the world of Inquisitors. In the world of Inquisitors we are seeing this newcomer that I talked to you about, and this is the Penance Brand of Dissipation. Now, Penance Brand is not something that I particularly know that well and use myself, but for those of you who are complete beginners, Penance Brand is one of those slightly awkward mechanics in my humble opinion as far as the gameplay is concerned. It's when you throw this brand on the ground, it attaches itself to an enemy, and then it starts building up energy on that enemy. Once that energy reaches 20, there is an explosion that hits the targets. That's how normal Penance Brand works. Penance Brand of Dissipation, once again I welcome your corrections because I'm not an expert. To the best of my understanding, it is increasing the AoE spread and the magnitude of the damage, I suspect, with the more energy is on the target. So 1 is going to hit a little bit, 2 is going to hit a bit higher, 3 is going to hit even higher, and 20 is going to probably destroy a lot around the target. So obviously this is a new build. It's certainly not something that we're used to, or at least I'm not used to the Penance Brand of Dissipation, that's for sure. But now we see that in Affliction League with the Transfigured Gems it became possible, and I love it because it creates a variety of builds. Playing the same stuff all the time, again, I don't judge, but it's like eating the same food every day. Some people prefer to, and some people think that it's boring. I personally think it's boring. You tell me right now, what do you think? Is it boring, or do you think it's just like sticking to the good old things that never fail? Like, I don't judge, man, but let's talk in the comments down below. I welcome your opinion, okay? Alright, so that's our Inquisitors. Now, Chieftain, again, updated, revamped Ascendancy, quite interesting in terms of its kind of archetype, I suppose, and I do not have many Chieftains of my own yet, but never say never. And lo and behold, Chieftains are playing Detonate Dead. Once again, Detonate Dead builds, we have seen them on YouTube. Detonate Dead in the Affliction League has been very, very, very popular, but correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think it was very popular for specifically Chieftain Ascendancy. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was the Elementalist Witch, wasn't it? That's what I think so, but I look at a lot of builds, maybe I'm mixing some data up here. But Detonate Dead, we generate corpses, we detonate them, everyone is happy, everyone goes home very satisfied. You can see that at least in the Chieftain Ascendancy, the domination of Detonate Dead again is massive, followed by Righteous Fire. If you were living under a rock and didn't know that Righteous Fire genuinely got nerfed, it did get nerfed, this particular league of Path of Exile, the Affliction League, but there are some undying fans of Righteous Fire, obviously here, good on you my people, keep playing whatever makes you happy. Now, finally, we are going to wrap up here by talking about the Occultist. What are the Occultists up to, my friends? And Occultists are using Cyclone, but like I already said to you, I'm not gonna troll you and say that it's the damage dealing ability here or something. No, it's not. Cyclone is known to be used as the vehicle. What does it mean if you're a complete beginner? Well, vehicle means that we're using a certain skill to trigger the other skill and move around. Cyclone allows you to do both. It allows you to trigger skills continuously because it's a channeled skill. You are spinning to winning, and at the same time you move around as you spin to win. So in this particular case, what pleases me is to see that Cyclone is triggering a lot of different things. Again, variety is good, isn't it? Because it's fun, it's a game, it's supposed to be fun. Now, what are they triggering? What is Cyclone triggering? Well, we have here Cyclone triggering Forbidden Rite, which is cool. We have here Cyclone triggering Ice Novas of Frost Bolts, boom boom boom, not too bad. We have here Cyclone triggering Ice Spears even. How interesting. I would have expected it on Totems, but we see here the Cyclone triggering it. That's pretty cool. And a lot of Forbidden Rite. If I had to just even quickly take a look here as we are looking in the real time, my friends, I'm not pre-recording this, I'm looking at it as I'm recording this. We can see that Forbidden Rite is actually obviously believed to be hitting pretty hard this league, otherwise so many players wouldn't be playing that, and Cyclone is doing what it does best, and it's triggering whatever the attached skill is. Once again, I will be happy to provide a few links here for you as a reference point, not specific builds. As you know, in some of my reviews I go into specific builds, in some of them I just want to inspire you to have fun, maybe experiment, diversify, especially as the league goes to the middle and towards the end. Some of us sort of lose momentum and are like a little bit like, well, I already played my Tornado Shot, what else will I play? Well, there is a whole bunch of things that you could be playing in Path of Exile, and that's the best thing about this game, because it gives you a lot of variety, and variety is good. And that's it, my friends. I wanted to very quickly check in with you because, again, like I said at the beginning, I respect all creators, especially prolific creators of Path of Exile who create their own builds, Balsteron, Zizeran, others. But at the same time, one thing is what they like to play and what they put out there, and another thing is what do people really play, what actually takes hold, what do they look up, maybe import a certain import string of the build into their path of building, but what is actually taking hold and what are people enjoying. And this is what they appear to enjoy. At the very least, these 100,000 characters so far created and reflected on PoE.Ninja in the Affliction League. You tell me now, your turn, yeah? You tell me now, what do you play? Do you play any of these? Do you have anything to say in favor of those? Why do you think that your build is good, especially those that offer some variety? For example, the Cyclone triggering something. Forbidden Rite versus Ice Spear. Why do you play what you play? As a player, as well as a reviewer, I love to hear the opinions and I love to learn from each other and offer you something in return. If you think that it's entertaining or useful please never be shy to give me a quick like. It takes a lot longer to put these videos together, but I don't hold it against you if you don't. I just want to invite your little like and subscription for further content, because I will continue reviewing other people's builds as well as offering you my own. Happy New Year once again, and I will talk to you next week about something else. Path of Exile, World of Warcraft, other gaming related. Goodbye for now.